So, but what I wanted to bring up to just to sort of end the show is obviously RFactor 2. They've only got two official Formula E tracks, and we've used one already in Monaco, and we've got Hong Kong, which is going to be what we're racing in next week, and that's the track that we're going to. So, what do you expect Formula E to do now? There is talk, obviously, we fueled the talk of this DLC packet that Formula E probably, the way that they're talking at the moment, they sound like they want to race on official Formula E tracks. They don't really want to race anywhere else. But if an official DLC, if we're just talking rubbish and that's actually not coming, then they can't just race on Hong Kong and Monaco every week. So they're gonna have to actually pick some tracks, Jack, to race on. So what sort of tracks do you reckon that they might pick to race on in RFactor 2, possibly?
Firstly, please Formula E give us a DLC for our Factor 2. I will get. I will buy our Factor 2 like it as soon as they announce a Formula E DLC. That would be so cool. That would be so
I
cool.
think that's what the fans want, though. Really, is an actual. They've been crying and crying and crying for an official sort of Formula E game, and RFactor 2 is probably the closest thing that there is to a game. But there's only got those two official tracks. Yes, there are modded tracks, so it sort of makes it an official game, but it technically isn't because all those tracks are made by somebody else. But if Formula E were to actually create that DLC, then Formula E can say, look, our game is on RFactor 2, buy RFactor 2, and you would race in Formula E.
I think that this is something that the fans have wanted to. I think I remember reading as far back as Punta del Este season 2 or something. This is how long that we've wanted a Formula E game, and so I think it would be so much fun to have Formula E tracks and Formula because and the thing I hope that they don't just do ones that are on this year's calendar. I hope that but I know it's unlikely, but I'd love to race around Putrajaya and Punta del Este, and I know that we're going to speak about our favourite track some point in the future. But yeah, there are quite a few tracks that that I would absolutely adore to race around. Um, and so yeah, but if they weren't to do that, obviously Donington is the main one that comes to mind if they're not going to do any official tracks. Maybe also Valencia. Uh, I'm I'm not really sure. Apart from that, they might go to a few other street circuits that they have done in other series, so like the Norris Ring. They might even do Valencia, the old Valencia F1 circuit. Um uh
So yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, I think it'll be good regardless.
yeah. But the only other thing, Will, that I think might be quite interesting is if Formula E actually then take themselves, if they weren't to do a DLC packet, if they actually then take themselves to a different environment and say, this is what would happen if we were to race at Silverstone on like the national layout, or for example, go to Donington and race on that layout, or go to Pembroke. I got a few tweets telling me that Pembroke is a really good R Factor simulation race on R Factor 2, and that might be a really good place for Formula E to go. So it might be quite fun for Formula E to go to these different tracks.
Yeah, so a couple of the tracks I've seen people play on RFactor 2, I haven't used it myself, but I've seen, I know that the race did the Nürburgring, and I know they also used the Indy road course. I think it would be quite fun to experiment if we don't have any actual Formula E tracks, as you mentioned. Potentially like a shortened Silverstone circuit, like the national circuit would be quite fun. You could even go as far as like racing on ovals. Just literally, do what we want. If you're not using the real track, you could just experiment, and we could see a Formula E on a full range of different circuits, and really try and mix it up. And if you're worried about it kind of getting a bit stale, then why not go from racing at somewhere like the Norris Ring to racing a kind of like I don't know if they have the Nordschleife version of the Nürburgring, but why not do that? It'd be fun just to mix it up and see how it goes.
And I suppose that would broaden Formula E's appeal, because if you are racing, it brings that excitement level up. You're like, oh, we're not just seeing them race round Punta del Este or Rome or Paris, for example. We're going to somewhere that's actually a bit more. Not saying Paris and Rome are not exciting; they are exciting, but you're going out of your comfort zone, a bit like what V8 supercars have done by racing at Spa, Monza. Even IndyCar have gone to Spa and Suzuka to race in. No, they're not official IndyCar events, those ones, but a different sort of IndyCar series, well, esports series, where all the official drivers are still racing in, have gone to Spa, they've gone to Suzuka. So, it'd be fun to maybe put Formula E Jack in an environment where it's not normally in.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I'd love to see them on permanent circuits. There are obviously a few permanent circuits that are in city centres. Obviously, we go to Mexico City, not on the same layout as the Formula One race, but also Shanghai's in the middle of the Shanghai circuit's in the middle of Shanghai, um, and and there is a layout where you can cut off that big long kilometre straight that that's that the that the Formula One cars use, that the Formula E cars definitely shouldn't use, because it's a kilometre long. There are quite a few other tracks that I would like to see them go to, but yeah, I think Formula E on permanent circuits. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, obviously the whole idea of like staying in city centres for real life Formula E is obviously where we want to go.